Neo-Nazi, racist, and anti-Semitic. The words many use to describe Germany's National Democratic Party. But last week, the Constitutional Court rejected a bid to have the party banned.
Für die Partei ein großer Erfolg und ich habe es in den Gesichtern der Minister und Ministerialbeamten gesehen, dass sie eine Klatsche bekommen haben.
The court heard evidence from the German intelligence agency saying that NPD has links to violent neo-Nazis and that it wants an ethnically defined authoritarian system which goes against the constitution. The court agreed, but found there was no concrete evidence the NPD poses a serious threat. Established in 1964, the NPD only has around 5,000 members. It has never won a seat in the federal parliament, and in September, it lost its last seat in the regional assembly. It has just one seat in the European Parliament. So, in the eyes of the court, the NPD doesn't pose a real democratic threat. For the NPD, this ruling is a vindication.
Denn jetzt gibt es nichts mehr zu befürchten. Das Verbot ist dann nach dem heutigen Urteil vom Tisch. Und dann können wir wieder richtig durchstarten und uns endlich wieder unserer eigentlichen Aufgabe widmen, nämlich an der politischen Willensbildung des Volkes.
Denn diese Partei ist im Kern rassistisch. Sie will ein Rückführungsprogramm, das letztlich Millionen erreicht. Das heißt, wenn man das umsetzen wollen würde, würde man Bürgerkrieg machen.
The ruling comes during a resurgence of the far right in Germany. Riding a wave of anti-refugee sentiment, the far-right Alternative for Germany party is growing in popularity. It's polling at around 15% and is poised to win seats in Parliament in this year's elections. While the AfD distances itself from groups like the NPD, it has attracted many of its members since being formed in 2013. Is this ruling a win for the far-right in Germany? And does allowing such extreme views to exist on the fringes risk pushing the mainstream even further right? Yvette McCullough, The Newsmakers.
Okay, I'm joined now from Berlin by Hugh Bronson. He's a politician with the German political party AfD, or Alternative for Germany. They're not the ultra-nationalist NPD, but are still seen as being on the right end of the political spectrum. I hope you consider that fair. Hugh, you agree with the Supreme Court decision, as far as I understand, that the NPD shouldn't be banned. Tell me why.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me for this interview. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And to answer your question, it is the rule of the law. The Constitutional Court has decided that this party poses no threat to our system, no threat to the democracy in our country, and has rightfully decided not to ban this party.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Supreme Court says, look, they don't have the capability or the strength or the power, but it does admit with the intelligence agencies that these guys are anti-Semitic, they're racist, and they don't hold very nice views. I wonder, from your perspective, do you like them, do you support them, or do you dislike them?
I don't like them, I don't support them, and I wouldn't encourage anyone to vote for the NPD. They are, although very small, they are in disarray, they're not organized, their financial affairs are in trouble, they don't pose a threat to society, but they're being closely watched by intelligence, and reports are coming back that accordingly, they are not posing a serious threat.
From those who leave the NPD and come over to your party, the AfD, what's their reason? Is it a change of heart or is it strategic?
There's a ruling in our party. We do not accept members of the NPD, former members of the NPD, in our fold. So if during a questionnaire it's been clear that this person has voted or worked for, not voted, but worked for the NPD or was a member of the NPD, they will not be allowed to become a member of the AfD.
Now, from the outside, as people try to understand, the nature of the right in Germany, the far right, and who tips over into neo-Nazism, and so on. There's a piece of news that just came through over the past 24 hours that I guess isn't good news for your party. It involves the Thuringian AfD leader Björn Höcke, who called the Holocaust Memorial a, quote, monument of shame. You would understand why many from the outside looking in would think, well, hold on, this guy's a neo-Nazi. This sounds like neo-Nazism. Do you condemn that?
We had previous utterances of people, amongst them Rudolf Augstein, a left journalist, or the literate Martin Walser, who said exactly the same thing. A shame for Germany means to have this huge monument in the very center of Berlin. Of course, that is debatable. We are distancing ourselves from far-right positions, and clearly this is not the main policy of our party.
Well, you just explained basically what he said to me. So again, I don't want to put words in your mouth and make it, and say that you have condoned it. So I'm going to give you the full quote here. Not only did he say it was a monument of shame, he said, "These stupid politics of coming to grips with the past cripple us. We need nothing other than a 180-degree reversal on the politics of remembrance." And now, when we're talking of remembrance, of course, we're talking about the German nation led by the Nazis, starting a world war, killing tens of millions of people, including 6 million Jews, and that's why there's a Holocaust memorial. So I ask you again, do you condemn what he said about having that memorial to remember what happened?
Yes, I condemn these views, and so does the federal board of the AfD. They issued a warning. They want to have an investigation. Why he said it, this is clearly not the view shared by the majority of people working for the AfD. So I distance myself and the federal board quite clearly from these utterances.
Okay, should he be fired?
It will be very difficult. German party law, it's easier to get divorced than to kick a member out of a party. This is the party law. We have to follow the law, and it is not as easy as it sounds, as it is in Austria, for instance, where you can very easily kick someone out who doesn't follow the party line.
Would you like him to be kicked out?
Well, he should be warned. This is not helping us. This is not beneficial for the party, because right now I'm having this discussion with you instead of talking about politics, about what we want to do, how we want to change the nature of this country. We have to talk about one single member saying a stupid thing in public, and that is a disgrace, and this is a waste of time for us.
As I've gone through some of your material, your party platform, what's available in the English language, there's a lot of talk of being against Muslim immigration because Germany is a culture of Judeo-Christian values. What does that mean?
You have to look at the history of Germany and the history of Central Europe. It's been built on 3 pillars, which is the capital in Rome for its law system, on the Acropolis in Athens for its democratic values, and on Israel for its Christian and Judaic tradition. These 3 main influences have shaped Germany and Central Europe.
So was what happened in the 1930s and 40s an expression of Judeo-Christian values?
These 12 brown years, as I call them, are a disconnection of civilization, of culture. It was a disaster. Germany had to pay dearly for it. It was a major historical mistake. Germany is a cultured nation with a tradition of humanity, with a tradition of enlightenment, of philosophy, of poetry, of music, and these brown years cannot be explained in this context.
Okay, Hugh Bronson, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Thank you very much for joining us.